Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, November 25th. Here for Celtics Clippers, which is tonight. We're recording the rest of the pod beforehand, just so you guys got a full show to listen to today. Celtics just beat the Timberwolves last night. I was blanking on the team for a second. I paused. I was like, wait, who did they beat?
Very forgettable team.
Yeah. But, well, this year they're about 500, so might as well throw them in that category. But how you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited to go to the Clippers game tonight. Excited to see the Clippers jerseys in person. Not excited to see the Salt Lake City edition jerseys. I wish that they would not wear them. But very exciting time to be a Celtics fan. We'll have that game recap for you. Might be some Celtics rumors to keep your eyes on regarding a very tall individual. Whether or not we talk about it on the show, but just to tell you, a little tease. I don't know. It's on Twitter today. Don't know if it's true. Not really from a reliable source, but maybe Kristaps is back soon. We'll go around the NBA, let you know what happened over the weekend, talk a little bit about some former Celtics, and then we'll do the rat list. Stick around, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of Celtics Clippers. Buy merch if you are so inclined to do so. It should be up, reasonably priced, kind of cool things to wear. How about them C's? Who doesn't love that? Even if you don't care about our show, it's still a good shirt. You can also hit the bell because we're here every single day. All right, we'll start the show.
That pause is the one that gets me every time. That pause is the one that I have had to train myself. And we'll have the rat list. Stick around. We'll have the every single time I want to jump in, but I have trained myself. I'm like, no, he's gonna keep fucking going. He's gonna keep going.
This is how people learn how to defend in the NBA. It's like dudes that are like, I know he's gonna hit the hesitation. I can't bite on it.
This is the LeBron. I'm gonna look at the ball real quick before I shoot. That's you. That's what you do. And I have
breaking news.
What is OPE? What
for
is...
a friend of us? He might be back.
KP. Well, see, the problem with this is if Kristaps Porzingis plays tonight versus the Clippers, which we are recording beforehand, this is not news anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's breaking news at noon.
It's breaking news at noon and not unconfirmed breaking news at noon, right? Like, as much as we trust perhaps this friend of ours, I am taking everything with a grain of salt until we get actual confirmation from an actual person who actually has sources on Kristaps Porzingis. So, hey, if Kristaps plays against the Clippers, you bet your ass this is going to be titled Kristaps, returns to action. But us in this current state, we do not actually know for sure if Kristaps is going to play.
Well, so think about it like this. Heading into the weekend, Al Horford sits in Washington. He's sick.
Sure.
I said to you that day, it would make sense if they just sat him on Sunday so he could play the back-to-back today against the Clippers. Like, it would make more sense just give him 2 days off in a row. But they're like, why don't we just play him Sunday? Certain individual might suit up on Monday.
Maybe. I will say, if Kristaps does play against...
We're alive.
This is a pre-recorded thing that doesn't come out until tomorrow after we know the information we are speculating about. This is not good podcasting. We're going to throw it to the people who do know if Kristaps played. All right, we are here after the Celtics 126-94 win over the LA Clippers. Welcome them into town, for the second night of a back-to-back against Western Conference foes. Beat the Timberwolves on Sunday, beat the Clippers on Monday. However, the game was the subplot of the evening because Kristaps Porzingis returned to action after missing the entire start of the year. As you heard, we recorded it hours ago at this point, but probably about 2 seconds ago on the podcast, you heard us go, is he going to play? I don't know. Should we talk about it? And then I eventually cut us off and said, we're being morons. Just go to recap the game when we will know whether or not he played. Lo and behold, Kristaps played. He looked pretty good. Obviously didn't shoot very well from three, but I thought he looked pretty good. So let's just start there. KP finished the night he started, first of all. Al Horford was out, so KP got the start. Nimi came off the bench, played most of those minutes, but KP finished the night with 16 points. Also had 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 6 of 12 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, and was a +3 in his minutes. But they look good. KP looked good, looked healthy, played 22 minutes, 37 seconds. And in my opinion, I thought it was a very good debut in terms of how comfortable he looked on the floor.
Yeah, I think the first stint was a little rough. Not rough, but it was very much, hey, I haven't played in a competitive basketball game in quite some time, and I need to get my footing back underneath me. And maybe needed to get over some nerves, but I don't really think so. I don't think he doesn't seem like the nervous type to me, but he only shot 1 of 4 in that first stint. The second quarter was really where this one turned into a he's back kind of game, because you saw the things that all of us loved about him last season. He had 2 great blocks. One of them was on Chris Dunn, shout out to Providence College, who was driving for a layup. Kristaps 2 hands, blocks him off the glass, forced a 24-second violation. Then a few plays later on the opposite end, he gets an alley-oop from Jalen. Cookies and cream back, as Jalen declared after the game. And it was a really good energy play for the Garden. Underrated thing that he didn't really get asked about in the press conference was the third quarter. Celtics are reeling, kind of down, not down, but they're down in the quarter. They didn't score until 5 minutes in when Tatum made a bucket. He scores 6 straight points once the Clippers cut it to 18. And it was really a nice stabilizer that the team seemed to need at the time. Without him, maybe that gets a little bit too close for comfort. Things start to get a little bit more sweaty. But that calming presence, his ability to just kind of post up, turn around, shoot over the guy was very much felt. Got himself to the free throw line as well, and then drived a Zubac closeout off the three-point line for a dunk, which was very good to see because it shows he's very mobile. He's able to make good decisions on the fly. His game sense is there. Overall, very solid debut. Wasn't like it's no game 1 of the NBA Finals, but it was a very good return for Kristaps nonetheless.
Yeah, my favorite part of the night was it looked like he wasn't playing like scared. Like he didn't look hesitant to step on his foot or twist his ankle the wrong way. He looked like he was, all right, I'm back. I'm going to play NBA basketball. I'm not going to be any sort of restricted. Obviously, he only played 22 minutes. I can't imagine he'll play huge minutes in the immediate future. But it does look like he is very comfortable out there, and I thought that was a good thing. The defense looked a lot better in terms of the paint with him on the floor. It looked like the Clippers were genuinely like hesitant to go inside, and that's not really something you've seen as much this season with KP out. And I think that's going to give Boston a huge boost in terms of their paint defense, because that's been a little lackluster this year relative to expectations. The offense will get there. The Celtics fed him like 4 straight threes to start the game, and he only made 1 of them. So maybe, obviously you want to see him make a few more of those, but the man's confident. You can't say he's not confident, and you can't say he's afraid to take shots. So I left this game very optimistic about how he will look moving forward.
Yeah, and you make a great point about the rim protection. It's something the Celtics have really struggled about this year. When they went into the game against Cleveland last week, we went back and forth and talked about it. It's like they were 27th in the league in rim protection. They really need to be better in that sense. He helps it a lot. You just kind of see it. It's not quite, but it is a similar effect where teams actually have to think twice, even if guys are getting blown by. They did yesterday against the Timberwolves, which is a major problem. They have a major force waiting for them in the paint, and it really does make them have to second guess, maybe kick out when they don't want to, or straight up get blocked, which the blocks for momentum plays in this game. Good energy plays for the building. Just really happy with it. I thought all the looks at the beginning of the game were fine looks. It started to feel like a little bit spammy just because it was like 4 plays in a row of he sets the screen, fades, Tatum throws him behind the back bounce pass, and he takes the shot. They're all open, all great shots, all shots we know he can make. I wouldn't mind seeing him roll off of that every once in a while. It's not something he does a lot of, especially, with the Celtics. It's just shoot as many threes as you can, and that's a great way to create open looks from 3. Like, again, all good shots, didn't feel forced. It was just like, we know what's coming again.
All right, I had to move spots because the Wi-Fi was giving me trouble. Joe, he said, I knew Kristaps was going to be back for this game. And Jalen, after the game, was obviously, like Sam said, cookies and cream are back, slammed the desk, all pumped up. KP was all smiles, as he always is. Said he was very excited, very eager to get back with the team, said he was itching to be there. It just feels like the vibes are up with KP back in the lineup, back on the court. Like, you can tell that he was so ready to play. You can tell that the team was so ready to play. Obviously, we were at the game, so we didn't get to hear Brad Stevens on the broadcast, but even he was like, apparently he said that like when they saw him in Abu Dhabi, they were like, oh yeah, it's going to be before December. It's going to be on the early end of the timeline. So
Porzingis even told us, he was like, I felt ready a month ago. I thought I was good a month ago. I just had to pass all of the protocols and all of the different tests to make sure I was ready to go, but he didn't skip any steps. A lot of fans were worried, like, oh, they don't want to rush Kristaps back too soon. Like, I don't care if he plays as long as he's healthy for the playoffs. Don't bring him back until then. Like, if that's what it takes, then do that. But it doesn't sound like the team skipped any steps with him. He's ready to go. They made sure they took care of everything they needed to in that respect. And there's no reason why anybody should feel concerned about the way that they handled it. If you want to be concerned about him being somebody that gets injured, go ahead. But with this specific injury, don't worry that he is back too soon. It doesn't feel like that's the vibe at all. Jack mentioned what Brad had to say. Kristaps couldn't have been more confident when talking about the injury. Talked about the process. Said he had to stay off that foot for 4 to 6 weeks after the surgery, and that was kind of tough, but he was running around on the scooter and trying to get better that way. So he really handled it well. He didn't skip anything. Do not worry about this. I know everybody in the pregame was like, can't have him back too soon. All right.
I will also say, and I remembered what I was going to say when I lagged out to your point about him chucking up those threes at the start of the game. This team with Kristaps goes from like elite team that is almost impossible to guard to the most unguardable team in the NBA. Like you talked about it. These guys or other teams have spent the entire season, and probably including the Clippers, because no one knew he was playing until this morning, really, right? Like the Clippers definitely had no idea. They probably
great way to play the hand.
Right? And so you look at the way they guarded the Celtics to start that game, they're letting the screener sort of do his own thing and sending two to the ball. Like they're focusing on Tatum, they're focusing on Brown, Derek Jones Jr., whoever is following the ball handler. KP's just wide fucking open, right? And although they didn't go down today, we know he can make those. We've seen him do it. We saw him do it in the finals when he was on half a leg because he was dealing with a calf injury, right? And so when you combine that with the vertical spacing of the lobs, even though he said after the game that he got, what do you call it, a flat tire on the lobs and he could barely jump.
Has the flat tires. Didn't really think he got off the ground very well and was surprised that he managed to put the ball over the rim. Really, 7'3" guy? You didn't think you'd be able to get up over the rim?
But just the space he creates on that offensive end, combined with the like additional backline support he gives this defense. The Celtics started last season at 13-4. They started this season at 14-3 before KP. KP comes back. Al Horford doesn't even play, and they beat the Clippers, who were on a 5-game win streak, which was the most in the NBA, tied with the Celtics, by 32 points. Hey, a lot has to go right for them to go back to back. But my God, these guys look unfucking believable right now.
They look like they're a tough team to stop. They really do. This game was never close. It got sweaty when it got to 18 points in the third quarter. But beyond that, the Celtics ran away with this after the first quarter. The second quarter, you just had an avalanche of threes, starting with Peyton Pritchard, then Sam Hauser, then Derek White.
That was
the whole
insane,
Celtics
by the way.
Team, nobody even asked about it in the postgame because of Kristaps. Like, it got completely overlooked. The Celtics scored 51 points in the second quarter. They made 12 threes, which I think tied an NBA record. And it just felt like the Clippers had no shot of keeping up. Every shot found the bottom of the net. They had no time to recover, no time to breathe. It was just a consistent pounding in the second quarter. I mean, they had nothing. They had no chance.
Pounding is the word of the day. I will also say about the threes, like, I think the Clippers didn't do a very good job guarding the three-point line, obviously, but I also think there is just a part of it, like, this Celtics team, especially with KP, puts an unbelievable amount of pressure on a defense. Like, there are so many places you have to be at once, and if you don't sell out to the drive, they're going to give up an open three. if you do sell out to the drive, you're going to give it an open three. If you don't sell out to the drive, Jason Tatum is going to blow by your best player and get to the rim, which he did multiple times in the first half. Just blew by whoever's on him, got an easy layup. Jaylen Brown can do the same thing. Jaylen Brown can make the toughest mid-range shots you've ever seen in your life. Drew Holiday can post you up because he's a block of muscle. Derek White has a floater that's unstoppable. Kristaps Porzingis is 7-foot fucking three. Like, combine that with the fact that all these guys shoot damn near 40% from three or 38 on high efficiency, like one of the two. What the hell are you supposed to do at a certain point? Like, it is unbelievable. And I think the Clippers got taught a lot. The Clippers are top 5 defense in the NBA, and that happened. That's crazy. We interrupt this program for a brief moment to talk to you about Prize Picks, which is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long at Prize Picks. Sam and I use Prize Picks every single pregame pod. Sam, what's one of your favorite picks? Give me one of your favorite picks for the pregame.
Favorite picks is always going less than for one of the guys on the other team. It's fun.
I love it.
It's a lot of fun.
See, I like more on an opponent when it's their turnovers. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love wishing for the more because you can hope for stuff. You can now win up to 100x your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as 15 minutes. Obviously, Sam and I have not been very good on the Prize Picks. We're going to keep trying. We try our best. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. I think one of our best ones this season has been Pritchard because he has been a monster. The more has been right there.
Wait until they get sharp on it. We'll all be in trouble.
Hopefully they don't learn too quickly, but download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Block of muscle is fire. Love it. Great nickname.
It is.
Great.
It's a brick.
Great description. The Celtics do feel a little bit unfair, but it's fair because the team that we support, cover, whatever, they really feel like they're just on a different level than everybody else. The ball movement in this game, I mean, if you go and you look at the box score, it's like 20 points, 19 points, 18 points, 16. The wealth was very well spread. They didn't have to use anybody to attack. They didn't have to rely on anybody. They didn't have to get in the backpack. It was a true team effort. We kind of talked about this when we were looking. Well, I guess you guys haven't heard it yet, but like looking at the Rockets team, looking at the way the Rockets play in average points, every single game looks like that for them. The Celtics did that today. They just had a good team win. The ball moved. And I suppose that happens when everybody makes shots. Of everybody, I felt like Jaylen was the best guy tonight. He just really dominated. He had a tremendous second quarter. He had a 4-point play. He was being aggressive, and he really seems to be building confidence off of Sunday's game against Minnesota. That's going to be massive for the Celtics. They have had all of these great wins, and very many of them, they have either done it without Jaylen at all, like he hasn't played, he was injured, or they've done it with Jaylen kind of playing at like 50 to 75%. Not really feeling himself or just not really being in a rhythm, having missed time. Now he finally feels like he's getting back into his groove after 2 weeks of being back. It's awesome to see. Jaylen is a fantastic watch when he's got it going. You mentioned it. He can make every mid-range shot. When he's making every three, it becomes that much more deadly.
Yeah, this was an awesome game by Jaylen Brown. Sorry, I blanked. I'm trying to look for a stat. Sorry, the stat I'm
Chris, that everybody.
I don't know. Well, the stat I'm looking for is the most shots made by a Celtic this game was 7. Nobody on the team made more than 7 shots this game. And I was curious, has there been a game where the person who took the most shots is less? You know what I'm saying? Is there like 6 or fewer? Because that seems ridiculous. And so I pulled it up.
Possible.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I pulled it up to see. And I see one other game so far in my quest because I just pulled up like the fewest shots made by Jason Tatum because I feel like that's a pretty safe bet to start from. I'm seeing a couple other games where there was a fewest of 7, but it doesn't look like they've gone lower below that. But there's more of those than you think. Yeah, Jaylen Brown is great. He looked good in this game, obviously. 6 of 11, 3 of 7, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. Had that nice dime to Kristaps. A relatively quiet JT game again. 20 points, 9 rebounds. 4 assists, 2 blocks. He was good. Obviously, he wasn't terrible, but
He was a
7
great
of 15,
start.
2 of 6. Had a good start to the game. I think Derek White was the best player on the floor in this game, though. He looked sick. He was so good in this game. Like, he was making crazy shots. He finished with 19, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, only 1 turnover. He was 6 of 12, 5 of 9. It just felt like everything he was doing, like every time he touched the ball, the possession turned to gold. It's like King Midas, right? Like he touched the ball, perfect possession. Like whether it was he's pulling up in somebody's face, whether he's catching the ball and shooting immediately, whether he's creating for himself, whether he's creating for others, like this was one of those games where it's like, all right, Derek's got the ball. Yeah, we score. That's easy. He looks so good in this game.
He has been unbelievably consistent. And again, he was part of that massive surge they had in the second quarter. Just knocking down threes. He was super confident pulling up. And what did he finish? I want to say 5 of 8 from 3, something crazy like that.
5 of 9.
5 of 9. The confidence that he has now compared to what he had when he joined the Celtics in 2022 is night and day. He's just taking contested ones like that are in rhythm and they're good shots. He's being allowed to create shots for himself. He's shown that he can drive and create that way and put pressure on the defense that way. We talked about the floater yesterday. The 3-pointer has become just as much of a weapon. It's just, I don't know what you do if you're playing the Celtics and everybody is just, I mean, Derek White makes 2 threes, then Sam Hauser says my turn, and then Peyton Pritchard says it's his turn, and then Jaylen Brown says it's his turn. It was literally like, you ever see like what they call a bully circle where like the dude in the middle is just getting pushed around back and forth between like a whole group of people? That's what the Celtics did to the Clippers today with shooting threes.
Yeah, it's insane. So the first regular season stint Derek spent in Boston, i.e. like those 26 games he played at the end of the regular season in 22, he was averaging 4.3 threes per game attempted. He is now making 3.7 per game. So he is now making 0.6 less than he was attempting when he first joined the Celtics. He's attempting 9.1 threes per game for the Celtics this season on 41%. That might go down as one of the best trades the Celtics have ever made. It's up there.
And they traded for Bill Russell.
I said one of. No, Derek was so sick tonight. And, I mean, Jaylen tweeted about it before the game. He tweeted Peyton Pritchard 6th man of the year. He supported it, and goddamn. Plus 30 for Pritchard in the box score. 20 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Played good defense, 2 steals, 7 of 13 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3. Highlighted by one just ridiculous 3 that he attempted at like half court that he just chucked up and it went down. Played good defense on James Harden in particular because James Harden was targeting Peyton Pritchard. And it just didn't work out too well for him. James Harden played all right. He was 8 of 17, 3 of 8. He was probably one of the better players on the Clippers. But he tried to go at Pritchard time and time again. Just did not work. Pritchard, just incredible night.
So Pritchard had my favorite possession of the game where he turned into Steph Curry. He gets the ball at the top of the key. He's going kind of like frantic in terms of his movement, gives it up, gets it back after cutting, gives it up again, starts sprinting around the floor, gets it back, gives it up to Nemi, runs off Nemi, gets a look in the corner, might have airballed it, but the off-ball movement is there. The ability to be continuously moving, to continuously make your defender work is important. I'm not surprised that the possession did not end in a make. I can't imagine how tired his legs were at that time and how off put he probably was by having to move that much before getting his look. But damn, if he's going to get good at that, that's just another good luck thing that goes into the infinity gauntlet of the Celtics, where it's just like, what do you do to stop this? Like, you have no answer for it. Overall, the guy has been incredible all season long. He's exceeded any expectations I think anybody had for him. he has carried over what we all saw him do in the preseason last year and this year into the regular season this year. And he has given the Celtics a serious scoring punch off the bench. He's made himself a legitimate Six-Man of the Year contender. I believe he's the betting favorite. He was the top vote getter in ESPN's
by a lot
awards survey
Poll.
by a good amount. Yeah. So just a testament to the work he puts in. He said it early in the season that he just was looking to improve scoring everywhere, not just shooting threes. And we've seen that. We talked about it yesterday where he's even making these turnarounds at the free throw line at a 70% easy. No, he's the best guy in the league.
He's
right?
Technically second best than at least 5 attempts.
Okay.
Sam Hauser is number 1.
Okay. Just another guy on the team. But
there'll be a video on it. But him before tonight, Pritchard, Hauser, and Derek White were 29 of 36 from 8 to 16 feet. That's 80%.
What do you do? You can't run them off the 3-point line. They'll just drive and shoot there. What are you going to do?
It's incredible, man. Also, Wizard Sam Hauser, back. Timberwolves Sam Hauser, not back. Sam Hauser against Clippers, back again. 3 for 3 from 3. He looked awesome in this game. Played good defense. He only had 2. Still just continues to impress me with his rebounding as well. So Hauser is back. Jordan Walsh had a decent night in his garbage time minutes. Jaden Springer as well. That Jordan Walsh took like 1-3, and then Joe Mazzulla's on the sideline like, what the fuck are you doing? Did you see that? I don't know if he was doing it to the rest of Jordan Walsh, but Jordan Walsh chucked this 3 from really deep. I'll pull up the clip. Did you see Joe Mazzulla? No, he bricked it.
He made one of them.
Hold up. I'll pull it up. Joe Mazzulla's on the sideline going like this. What? He's just like palms up. Hold up. I got to find it now because it was funny. Excuse me. He made one, and he had a monster dunk. But the one he missed, Joe Mazzulla, I don't know if he was doing it to him or the ref or something, but Joe Mazzulla didn't look thrilled at his choice to chuck up this 3 that you're about to see. Hopefully it's not lagging too much. But watch the 3, then watch Joe's palms up in the corner of your screen here. So Jordan takes it, and you look at him. He goes, what are you doing? Can you see it? Hopefully it's not lagging too much.
I saw it, yeah.
Before it even falls, he's like, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Also, though, before we go, Neemias Queta looked awesome. He was so good.
Maybe Kristaps unlocks Nimi somehow.
Yeah, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks, 3 fouls, which is unfortunate, but 5 of 6 on the field. He was incredible on both ends in this game. This was one of the games when you look at him and go like, Rob, hello, is that you? Nimi was so sick in this game. He deserves a ton of credit because he played real bad for a couple games, didn't play against Timberwolves, and then just jumps right in and was awesome. So respect him. I truly do think for him and X to a degree, it is just about a matchup. Like this was a matchup where he can thrive because the Clippers have a center who's not going to shoot threes. And I know they have Gobert in Minnesota as well, but if you're matching up with like Naz Reid a lot, that's going to be a little bit tougher when they've got guys who are going to take you off the dribble. That's going to be tougher. The Celtics did a good job of keeping him off of Harden, keeping him off of those guys, and just letting him thrive in a role that's best for him. And he did just that. He was really, really good.
It's good to see it. I still think like he's somebody that the team likes. I think it makes sense to play him minutes. I think you want to get him as many reps as you can because what he seems to lack is just experience-based stuff. It's not even like a skill thing. I mean, he could be a better finisher at the rim, but there's a lot of just reads he kind of fails to make on both ends of the floor. But tonight, it was good to see him getting involved. It was good to see him hustling. He got rewarded with a big dunk after he helped save a ball on the offensive end. So any positives we get from Nimi is always just great. Yeah.
Shout out Nimi. Any final thoughts? Did we miss anybody? Tillman, Springer, and Shireman played at the end. They were all right. Tillman had a nice steal. Yeah, nice steal, nice hustle play.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Tillman.
Springer, good steal. Tillman didn't do anything. He got a couple rebounds. Drew was pretty inefficient, but I thought he was very inefficient. 2 of 10, 1 of 8, but I thought he was good everywhere else. Played great defense, 4 rebounds, 6 assists as well. I think that just about covers it. I mean, KP was obviously the big story. Shout out KP. He was great. Got pounded by Zubac, but
he did.
I think,
he got pounded.
think that's
Very
just about
tough.
it. That was so funny. He was trying so hard not to laugh.
I think we might have got him because we were at the front, just like
So context, Gary Washburn was asking KP about the challenge in his first game back of going up with a physical guy like Zubac, and he said that, how was it? He kind of pounded you down there. You got pounded, and KP just starts laughing a little bit. Quickly moved on, but that was funny. Anyways, any final thoughts before we jump on out of here?
no, man. Happy to have KP back. The Cup on Friday, big game, big game.
Cup.
Who doesn't love
Yes.
the?
All right. Cool. Reminder as always, if you want to get the merch, check it out there. And yeah, we'll throw it over to the rest of the pod where we speculate about KP some more, even though you already talked about him.
And
Goodbye.
we get disappointed that we don't have emails.
Yes, send us emails. Thank you. All right, we're back. I don't know if Kristaps played or not, but that was terrible podcasting on our end because why?
I hope you guys all laughed.
That was awful. That was terrible. That was so stupid. Let's do the email. Reminder as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. Be like Philip, be like RJ, be like all those fine people who like to send us emails every day. Let's check it out. We don't have any emails. That's awkward, huh? So just for the sake of this, whenever I do the emails and intro it, I just intro it and like I'm like filibustering so I can pull it up because of course I don't plan ahead. But no emails. Thanks, guys. You know what I'll use this time for? I'll plug the merch because there is a small update. They're actually showing the pictures now on the merch a little bit. So if you go to the store on YouTube
breaking
right
news.
here,
Second one of the show.
if you go to the store on YouTube here a little bit, you can see it's not all of them, but they're starting to like load in very slowly. So eventually I'll have it where you can see all of the products and stuff like that. But yeah, email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Anyways, Sam and I love watching live sports. That's why we're going to interrupt you guys' program real quick to talk about Game Time, because even though we're at games now, we don't really need to buy tickets anymore. Whenever we do, Game Time is the place to do it. Sam, I know you're not the biggest football fan, but you do like football. And if you're ever going to a Liverpool game, you bet Game Time would be the place. Noah Khan's not on tour anymore, and I know you're probably sick of hearing me talk about Noah Khan at this point. But when I do buy Noah Khan tickets, you know what I'm using. I'm using Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time's Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Sam, the Bruins are in town. I know you're not a hockey guy as much, but I bet you like them better than the Patriots. I know my roommates and I were looking for some tickets for some Bruins games, and Game Time's Picks made it very, very easy because we could filter out all the stuff. We could see the actual deal we are getting. We could see the great deal we were looking at. I know I'm a balcony guy. I think we could see our view. I'm a balcony guy. I think you're more of a loge fan when you're viewing games at TD Garden. All right. But you can see the view from both places. We assessed. We went with the balcony. We were bigger fans. We're balcony guys. Do you know what I'm saying? But you can customize your spot. You can see, what you like at each spot. You can see the views, like you mentioned. You can see the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. You can see everything you need to ensure that you're getting the best deal on the tickets you're buying. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. We saw a show in Vegas a couple years ago. Do you know what we used?
Game Time.
Yeah. Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Next thing, let's go to the NBA section. Check out some games around the league. What is going on? What is happening? Etc. I'll pull up the standings and we can rock. Sam, do you want to lead it off?
Sure. So we had a couple games on Sunday. As Jack will show you on the standings, the Cavaliers have still only lost to the Celtics. They beat Toronto on Sunday. They're 17-1 now. Speaking of continued trends, Sixers still ass. They actually had to delete their final score graphic because it looked like it said anal instead of final because the font made it look that way.
Still ass.
They lost really bad. 30-point loss to the Clippers. Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain 8 for 28 shooting. Somebody on Reddit said they won't be giggling in the post game this time.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, or I mean, not even to be fair, like the current roster you see here, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Caleb Martin, Kelly Oubre, Gershon Yabusele, that's a 3-11 team. Yeah, I mean that is what a 3-11 team or 3 and whatever team 3-13 team looks like. You see it. When you don't have the best two players on the roster, you're probably not going to be very good. And that's what's happening to the Sixers right now. Embiid's not playing.
It's a shame.
Wow.
He clearly doesn't want to play. Hates playing.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by Shams as well.
There's a lot of stuff going on the phone.
There's
right
a lot going
We're
on.
Podcasting with the Stadium Pulse. It's okay.
We picked the worst possible time because now I have to write because this is objectively my job.
You want to pause?
No, we can keep going.
Okay.
Do you want to pause? We can pause if you both want to write quick.
Let me see if Celtics blog needs me to write.
All right.
Well, welcome back.
All right, unpause. I'm just gonna write while we record because Kristaps is in fact playing against the Clippers, which you guys already heard about, but we're still living in a time. We
technically had it first. The discussion Jack and I had on our show was before Shams said it. So
it was Cam. It was Cam about to buy of Celtics Wire. Let's get.
We had it through. We collectively as a roundtable beat Shams.
Sure, but
team effort.
It was Cam. No, it's not a team effort. We didn't do anything.
All my group chats think I beat Shams. Just say.
Anyways, what I was saying is the Sixers aren't good, but like I get why they're not good, and it's like I can't blame anybody on the screen right now. It's Embiid. It's Embiid and Paul George, and Paul George is hurt, and that sucks, and Embiid is hurt, and that sucks. Like it's just a very injured season for them, mixed in with the awkwardness of what is going on with Embiid.
Yeah, would not want to be a Sixers fan. I had somebody ask me today if I think Embiid's going to get traded. I don't, because I just think this is a really bad time to trade Embiid. He's not playing. There's a lot of stink on him right now. What team is going to give up a ton for Joel Embiid? Really? Like, go down the list. He makes a ton of money. You're at that point having to give up a large contract, probably, and a great deal of draft capital for a guy that you don't even know if he is healthy. You don't know how consistent he's going to be. You don't know. I mean, now you have all this, he shows up late all the time stuff out there too. What kind of work ethic is he going to represent for your team from the top down? The Sixers are in a bad spot. Like, it doesn't even feel like they can get out of this. I truly can't tell you like what team would really want him. It would have to be a team like, ironically enough, like the Pistons that are just so desperate. Maybe Houston because they have so many young guys that they could get rid of. But even then, like you have Şengün, like he plays well for you. They're all fitting together right now. Like Houston's playing well as a group. I don't think I would want to mess with that. Ime does know Embiid for the time he spent in Philly. Like a team that's just been out of it for so long. Pistons, Hornets. But those are the kind of teams, like, if you heard reports, you'd be like, no, I don't want to go there. That's what you would hear. So they're just in a brutal spot.
I don't know what's going to happen with Philly. It feels like almost a lost season for them at this point. But like at the same time, we're like, what, less than a fifth of the way between the seasons. So it is tough for me to just completely close it down because I do think if what's it called? If Embiid can get healthy, then he should be pretty okay. So, or they should be pretty okay, is what I say. So I don't know, but yeah, the Sixers seem pretty.
How many games has Embiid actually played in this year? I'll look it up.
I was gonna say I can't be the Google monkey today.
That's okay. That's okay.
4
I'm
games
right now.
4 games.
He's played 4 games. What is their record?
I don't know.
I'm trying to look. None of these sites are very helpful.
You're not very good at Googling stuff. They are 0-4. They're 0-4 in games he's played in. 0-4. 0-4.
Big needle mover, Joel Embiid. When he comes back, watch out for the Sixers.
Well, okay. The context of 0-4, and he's still been very injured. Like I get it, and that's not an excuse. If you're gonna play, you can't use the injured thing as a crutch. But he's very clearly not healthy.
It's true. Not healthy. Played in the Olympics despite not being healthy, having the same injury from last season carry over, but you didn't take the summer off. Bad look. Still think Sixers fans should be pissed. Unlike the Sixers, though, Milwaukee back. They are 8-9 now. They're actually out of the play-in. They are up in the regular playoffs after starting horrendously. They have won 4 straight games. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Still not 500, but for the East, top 6, 8-9 gets you in the top 6. Not bad. Not bad.
Bucks are playing better. The Bucks have been a lot better. What were you not talking about the Bucks?
No, I'm talking about the Bucks. I'm laughing
I was like,
because
what?
I have these roundtable messages up, and now we can say it was Cam that was the one that was like, "Think he might be back tonight." He's like, "Yeah, I broke that story. Now I'm giving a vocab quiz at school." What a life Mr. T lives.
That's fine.
But the Eastern Conference is actually starting to shape up the way that we all thought it might look going into the year. Few outliers, like Philly still being at the bottom is a little bit of a surprise. Brooklyn being as high as they are at 9, even though a bunch of teams are 7 and 10, is a little bit surprising. Chicago being in there is a little surprising to me, maybe not so much to you. But as we go further and further here, we're going to learn a lot more. The last 10 is starting to look more impressive and more representative of what these teams are going to do throughout the season, like Cavs 9-1, Celtics 8-2, Magic 8-2, Knicks 6-4, Milwaukee 7-3, and then you have Miami at 5-5. The rest of the teams are sub 500. So that's kind of about the level of competition we all thought we would see in the East this year, starting to kind of get an actual representation of what this season's going to hold. So that's pretty nice. The West is a little bit more of just a fucking shootout, dude. Good luck to these teams.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Warriors and the Thunder at 12-4 up top. The Rockets are still impressive. They lost their last game, but they're 8-2 in their last 18, or excuse me, the last 10. Sorry. Lakers 10-6, Clippers 11-7, who the Celtics will have seen yesterday. Grizzlies 10-7. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 10-win teams versus 3 in the Eastern Conference. And I guess credit to the Magic because they're actually separating themselves from the bunch a little bit here. Yeah, it's what a pain in the ass it would be to play in the Western Conference.
Don't envy these teams. Gotta tell you, very tough look. In fairness to the East, yesterday, I think a couple East. I mean, the Celtics beat the Timberwolves. That's East versus West. The Nets beat the Kings. The Heat beat the Mavs. The only Eastern Conference team to lose to a Western Conference team on Sunday was the 76ers. Bad representation of the East. If this was college sports, we would all be so looking down on the Sixers, being like, you can't represent our conference like that. You got to hold it up when we play the other conferences. So hopefully there becomes a little bit more discrepancy. Like, I don't want to see the conferences as lopsided as this in all seriousness. As much as I love to see the Celtics just getting the easiest possible road to winning, it's kind of annoying to hear about the West. It's just so much better, but it's true. Literally, if you are 500 in the West, you aren't even in the play-in. I said it earlier, Bucks 8-9, the 6th seed right now in the East. And the seeds don't matter. It's November. But still, just looking at the standings is very jarring. How about the Spurs? Above 500, Wemby. 3 straight wins.
I had them above 500 in my preseason predictions. I did. I mean, I also had the, what's it called? Pelicans. So there's some stuff you can't predict, but the Spurs are good, man. I mean, they have the talent. Wemby is enough to get you there. Harrison Barnes is a fine veteran. Chris Paul is a fine veteran. You've got guys like Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, and Stephon Casa who are up and coming guys. I believe in the Spurs. I think they'll make the play-in this year. I stand on that.
It would be fun if they made the play-in. The league would love them to make the play-in. I think it's good for international basketball if Wemby is playing in big games. I'm going to look up their cup record right now because I'm curious to see. I know they lost to the Lakers, so they've lost at least one game. The Lakers are in that group. The cup is the Lakers' competition. They love the cup. It's their favorite thing ever. LeBron wants that trophy to be named after him someday, very clearly. In the Western Conference Group B, the Spurs are 1-1. They have a point differential of 1 point. They are behind OKC and the Lakers. They will play Utah in their next game, and then Phoenix. 2 games that are kind of winnable. Phoenix is whatever. Like, they're not the most impressive team to me. They're certainly not a bad team, but they're very middle of the road, in my opinion. So they have an opportunity to go out there and take care of business and maybe even get a wild card spot in the Western Conference. And the league would love to see Wemby playing in cup games. That'd be so big for the popularity of the competition.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a case of like you said, like they'd love him because he is a star. I'm curious to see how much star power Wemby has by the time he comes back, because like as big of a name as he is, he doesn't, in my opinion, I don't think he necessarily has the draw, or I don't know if I could see him having the draw of a LeBron or a Steph or a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really view him as that level of megastar. Do you?
He's not a megastar, but like
Maybe not yet, but
he's an attraction in a different way. If Wemby's playing, you can justify watching the game because you're like, oh my God, look at what this guy does. Look at how differently teams have to play when he's on the floor. And
I
I
get
think
it.
that's and also just considering going forward, we talk about it and we talked a lot about it last season with the Celtics winning and Tatum finally getting the championship. It still doesn't necessarily feel like the league has the next face of the league just yet, which is a big important thing for their marketing department. As much as we might not care about it, they need someone to always be talked about, to be the guy. And maybe a lot of people don't feel like it's Tatum. I personally don't care. I think he's a good representation. I think he's a just respectable guy, cares about his kid, represents pretty good stuff, goes out there and plays, doesn't really do anything extra to get negative attention. Like, he's a fine representation of the league, but a lot of people don't like him. They think he's lame. They don't want him to be like the guy. That's why you see all the hate on Twitter. They think he's fucking boring. They like Ant. But Wemby he talks a little shit too. I know Philip was talking to us about that, like where he was like, yeah, these guys just don't really work as hard as I thought they
Yeah.
would. So he's kind of a fun character.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't really know who it's gonna be. I think it's tough because like the whole thing with Steph and LeBron was they played each other so many years. Like you had that, okay, this is the best rivalry. Look how often they're playing each other, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you're to have that, like, because I think there's too much parity in the league to have that consistency of a matchup in the finals. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Celtics could get there a good amount, but do I think they're going to get there every year for 8 years in a row like LeBron did? No, I think that's an unrealistic expectation with how talented the league is. I think the same for the Thunder. I think the same for the Spurs. I think the same for all these teams. So I think it's just going to be tough to have that established. This players in the finals every year. I don't know if you're going to see that ever again, just because of how talented the league is now.
You might not be sick if the Celtics just won over and over and over again.
But even if they did, Tatum wouldn't get the credit that LeBron did because his team's better.
It's true. Very true.
Okay. Any other games you want to talk about, or do you want to head on to those? Pacers beat the Wizards last night in somewhat of a good game, although they kind of blew it open at the end. Heat Mavs was fun. I watched the end of that on my phone.
They went into overtime.
What Pacers?
Right.
Oh, Heat Mavs. Yes. Sorry.
Jimmy had a big game in the regular season. Newsworthy right there. Usually doesn't happen.
Yes. Bam hit a few threes. Jimmy had a dunk that should have been an and one at the end of the regulation, and it shouldn't have gone to overtime in the first place. But it was a good game nonetheless.
Another East versus West game. East wins. I hear a lot of talk about the West being better. Big day for the East yesterday. I'm going to really start taking conference pride in the East. I think I am. It's my new thing. Kind of sucks that Miami's finding their footing, though, at the same time.
I was going to say, that's not going to last very long.
No, it lasted all of 20 seconds. I was like, actually, no, this is bad. But it's fun to see Luka lose. I don't know. That was a win-win for me. I think either team loses, I get to like nod my head a little bit. The Nets just continue to be a team that's like, maybe they're not as bad as we all think. I don't know. They had a good game in Sacramento yesterday. Let's see if they keep it up. They're 7-10 now.
Yes. All right. Do you want to move on to the next thing?
Yes, we
Sorry,
can pull it up.
I'm still writing. I'm trying. I need your help, brother. Rockets. Ime Udoka is imprinting his identity onto the team. This is via Michael Pina of Sports Illustrated. He says, quote, "We're only as good as our," or no, sorry, I think Michael Pina's of the Ringer now. Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure. Yeah. So
He's
he
at the
says,
Ringer.
"We're only as good as our one-on-one defense. We're only as good as our as all our 5 on the court, any weak link is exploited. Everything flows out from that philosophy, which makes a ton of sense on paper, but is quite grueling in practice. I'm sorry, that was Michael Pina. Quote from Ime, it's not a lot of schematics to it. There's a lot of will and want to it for sure. But it's also very eye-opening when you show them the numbers from a few previous years in those areas. If you're honestly tired of losing and want to change the perception of the team, I mean, that's where we all start. And I think they really helped push that forward by signing Fred VanVleet, by signing Dylan Brooks, by trading for Steven Adams. Like, you brought in 3 guys who can be pluses objectively on the defensive end of the floor. And then it helps you teach, okay, Jalen Green, you can't just play offense. Okay, Şengün, you can't just play offense. Okay, Tari Eason's already a plus defender, got to be even better. Jabari Smith got to be even better. Ime Thompson got to be even better. Like, you have guys that are capable of playing defense, and so teaching them to want it on that end. And I mean, you see the results. The Rockets are 10-6 or 12-6 this year.
The reason why I like this and I put it on the sheet is because it's beginning to feel a lot like the Celtics when Ime was here. Everything started on the defensive end. They were a great defensive team. They were really fun to watch in that respect. Marcus has a great defensive season. Rob has a great defensive season. Both of them were really the front runners for the defensive player of the year before Rob gets injured. And the Celtics turned their season around by playing defense and locking in on the end of the floor. And that's clear. It's clear to be what Ime is the strongest at as a coach, is getting his guys to buy in. And when you have a young team like the Rockets, a team that has been mediocre since Harden left, they just really haven't had a lot of success. That's where you have to start. All these young guys want to come in and score. That was the big label on Jalen Green his first season and a half, 2 seasons, is that this dude is just going to go out there and shoot all the shots. In order for a team to be successful, you have to have guys playing on both ends of the floor. It truly is. But kind of happy to see a new competitive team in the West. It's felt like the Rockets have been ready for a little while here. There was rumors that they were going to go after Draymond right when the Ime hire happened, when Draymond's contract was up with Golden State in 2023. And I think that was a tell to all of us that was like, this is the identity they want to have. This is the kind of team they want to put out there. And he would have probably been a good fit, but it's nice to see them kind of building with young guys and seeing a young core start to succeed in the NBA. They really could be like a rival team to OKC. They're like I don't want to say Walmart version of OKC because they're a little bit better than that. Maybe Target version of OKC, where they have a lot of these young guys that are on.
Don't
good
disrespect
contracts.
Target. Don't you dare disrespect.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying it's better. I'm saying it's a better. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but they're not as good as OKC. Their players aren't as good as those guys, but they have a lot of guys that are on affordable deals, guys that they can move in trades if they decide to add good pieces, star level pieces to the core, or they can just roll with it. Because the Celtics did that and it worked out just fine. I mean, they're not the Celtics, but
Yeah. They're not the Celtics, but like Ime is instilling the same principles, and there's no doubt that the Rockets are a talented team. Like they have the talent to be a good team in the West. Alperen Şengün should be an All-Star this. Actually, that makes me question like who on the Rockets will be the All-Star. Like probably Şengün. I mean, if they're this good, they'll probably have at least one. It's just a matter of like who it'll be, because I think they're playing a lot by committee this year. I'm gonna pull up the roster or the standings and everything in the West, et cetera, in a second here, but like they should have an All-Star. But who is it going to be? So if you look at the Rockets stats so far this year, you can see, let's see, Rockets, boom. Şengün is leading the team, Jalen Green's leading the team in scoring at 19, 5 and 3 roughly. It'd probably be Şengün because he's averaging 18, 11 and 5. Pretty damn good. Like if they're going to get an All-Star, it'll probably be Şengün. But they're playing very much team ball. Like no one's averaging 20. It's Jalen Green at 19, Şengün at 18, VanVleet at almost 15, Dylan Brooks 13, Tari Eason 12, Jabari Smith 12, Ime Thompson's like 12 or 11. What?
It's so funny. They literally just play like a team game, just like you said it. It's so funny to look at Jalen Green's splits though. 38 and 30, very rough, not good. Could be at like 25 a game if he was just a little bit more efficient.
Very inefficient. Yeah, it's not exactly tip top efficiency that you might want to see from Mr. Jalen Green. Regardless, it'd probably be Şengün if and when they do get an All-Star, but they're just playing good basketball right now, man. I think their offense is probably a little meh, if I had to guess. Their defensive rating is I'm on players, not teams. Their defense, excuse me, their defensive rating as outlined, is second in the league, 103.7. Their offensive rating is a little bit worse. They're 15th for their bang average, 112.5 in offensive rating. So it is what it is in that regard. But I don't know. I think they'll be a playoff / play-in team this year. I don't know how much they'll keep this level of top 3 up, but I think they'll definitely be in the postseason.
Yeah, they should be. They're due. The problem is, it's just such a fucking dogfight out there. You lose like 5 out of 10, you might really lose some ground.
Yeah, it's tough. We'll see what happens for them. All right. Next thing, last thing I believe before the rat list here. Old friend Grant Williams tore his ACL. Will be out for the season. It was a tough play.
Very tough.
You saw him going against Brook Lopez. He just sort of fell down as his leg kind of snapped a little bit underneath him. Not fun to watch. Feel bad for him. He was playing well for the Hornets this year. The Hornets were not great, but they were better than I think some people expected. They're 6-10 to start the year, so they're definitely not in the best spot. But they're 4-6 in the last 10, which means they started. Or excuse me, they're playing well to start the year. Hoping to make a play and push, especially with how weak the East is. Already you're down Mark Williams, and now they're not gonna have Grant either.
Nobody named Williams is safe. Very clear. They even played pretty well once Grant got there last season after the trade deadline. Like, it felt like I don't want to say like moved the needle for them, because he is not that type of player, but it was just nice to have somebody who could play a supporting role that had done that on a successful team, plays both ends of the floor, can shoot the three. They lose that now. Kind of sucks. I also was in the boat that I thought they would be a little bit better than they are going to end up being now. I thought Brandon Miller was due for a little bit of a jump. It was going to be very interesting to see what they looked like when they were actually healthy, because LaMelo was never on the court. Mark Williams was obviously hurt going into the season. The way Grant hurt himself, very tough watch, because he didn't do anything out of the ordinary. He was just driving to the basket, and his knee fucking gave out. He didn't land on it. He didn't fall weird. It was a routine play, and that shit is scary. So I hope he gets better. I have always liked Grant, even though I think he's a clown. I know people really soured on Grant after the game in Charlotte this year, where he hard fouled Tatum at the end of the game and all that. And the team clearly wasn't happy about it either. I'm not saying the fans were wrong to feel that way, but ultimately, don't really want to see him get hurt. And I mean, that could be really bad for his career.
Yeah, it's tough. This also brought out like the worst section of NBA fans. Like,
Where
people,
so
yeah, people are like, thank God that guy's out. Like people saying like, thank God. Like that's the worst section of people. Like, you
it's
can hate
so
someone,
bad.
You hate LeBron, you hate Bronny, whatever. You hate whoever you want, but like, you would never hope LeBron tears his Achilles or anything like that. Like that's the next level of like, you're taking basketball too far. You're just being an asshole. Like, you're being a bad person at that point.
Right.
No one wants
Like,
to see somebody get hurt like
Bronny
that.
didn't have his heart issue last year. I didn't like fist bump. Like, when it
Yeah,
happened, I was like, that is awful. At
that's
like
unacceptable.
19, that's devastating. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to see anybody get hurt, man. I always feel like wishing injury on people is such bad karma too. Like, I'm just like morally afraid of just getting smoked by karma on that front, on top of like it just being a bad thing to do.
All people being afraid of karma, you're the last one I would have pegged being afraid of karma.
Well, I don't do anything immoral. I just say like shit that might not.
You just say some immoral stuff, but you don't mean it.
Yes, exactly. I don't mean it.
Fuck you.
Yes,
but hope Grant feels better in the long run. We can jump to the rat list here, Sam. What do you
got? Rat list, whatever Mr. T's plans are tonight, because this poor dude broke the Porzingis news. Also, first and foremost, I guess we'll do a whole rat list on this. Shout out to Mr. T. Shout out to Cam, friend of the show, roundtable member. Broke the Kristaps news today and got pretty much no credit for it. ESPN
not going to get any credit.
Shams. No. Shams confirmed the news after Cam reported it. I mean, technically, Celtics Forum broke the news, for being honest. But Cam was the first real reporter to break this story, to come out and say, looks like Porzingis is back. He's not going to get credit for it. And that sucks. But Ratless, whatever plans he has, because it sucks even more that he's not going to be there. I don't think he's going to be there tonight to kind of like be covering the story that he broke. But shout out to him. Absolutely sharp on that front.
Yeah, shout out Cam. He had it. He was there. It was confirmed that KP was playing, or he reported that KP was playing. And then, shocker, Shams tweeted it. and everyone's giving credit to Shams. But yeah, KP's gonna be playing, or he will have played last night. Ratless, the T, not Mr. T, the T. So I was coming home from the game last night, and the way it works is there's no Beeline service from North Station, so I go to Government Center and I get a Beeline there. And so I get there, and it says, "Oh, Boston College train, 3 minutes" on the sign. I'm like, "Oh, perfect! I made it just in time." Train pulls up. Train says no service on it, and I'm like, "Damn, all right, no service." And so I'm like, "All right, damn, that must not be the Beeline train." So I go sit down, whatever. As it's pulling out, I look up and it said Beeline boarding. I'm like, but it said no service. It lied. That was the Beeline train. It just said no service on the train. But then I saw somebody, like, before it left, I saw somebody walk up to him and say, "Is this Beeline?" And they probably said yes, because he got on the train and went. But I didn't know, because it said no service. So then I waited there for 15 minutes for the next Beeline train. What the fuck are we doing? How is it going to say no fucking service if it's the train that I need? Fuck you.
You know what's funny is I didn't take the train, but I could have taken the train yesterday because it was a day game. And I could have got the train, the commuter rail from Providence and went that way. But I was just like, you know what? I just don't really want to have to worry about being somewhere at a certain point so I can go home. I'm just not interested in that. So I drove in, extended my parking street parking streak to 5 games in a row. Hoping to make it 6 today. Always a big win when I can go up and pull up for free and park, or pay $2 or whatever it actually costs to pay the meter. But very happy about that. Other Ratless, I got home yesterday and I'm in college football leagues on the Xbox. And I did not want to hold up the leagues, but I did tell them I was busy yesterday due to having to be at the game. And I was like, I'll play when I get back. Told them the time. 2 dudes were rushing me. And then I get back. All of a sudden, nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to play. I sat there for an hour just twiddling my thumbs, getting ready. Won both games. Made them pay for making me wait. Don't make me wait. It's rude. It's very rude.
Do you want my logic, or do you want me to go along with your bit?
Let's hear it. Let's hear the logic.
You made them wait.
But I communicated
Initially.
it. It's the communication that is the problem.
Okay. I see. Fair.
If they were can't be on for an hour, what do I care? But if everyone's like, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be on. Just let me know when you're on. And then I'm on. And it's crickets. Very
I see. That makes sense. Okay.
I have no problem with people being busy as long as you tell people. I don't care.
I understand. That makes sense.
Jack and I work so close together. We have to communicate all the time. And that's why it works, despite being busy.
Yeah. Understandable. Hate to say it. Don't know if I have anything else. Don't know if I got anything cooking.
Ratless, the equipment manager.
Sure.
City Edition jerseys for the Clippers game. Very bad look for Porzingis'
Kristaps
debut.
That's a disaster for me because I need to make the pregame graphic, and I literally will not have a pregame graphic with him in the correct jersey. Is he one of the promo people?
Yes, you'll have it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, saved.
Oh, we have Jack. Before you go to the game, upload the Philip Kristaps song.
Okay. Okay. Can do.
But yeah,
I have to go
think
search
that's it.
for this now.
I do not have any more Ratless. I'll wrap us up.
Thank you
all very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment. Tell us what you thought of Kristaps, his first game back. I'm sure it was a ton of fun. At least I hope so. You can also subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought. You can hit the bell because Jack and I are here every single day. New pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, game recaps the morning after each game. Other videos are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Please do that. Nobody did that today. We're very disappointed. It's the first time in a very long time that we have had no emails. So get in on the fun. We love to hear from you guys, seriously. Big part of the show, we always read them on the pod. So hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's One NBA. Mine's at Samuel France. NBA. It's at
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus.